Most people don't learn finance until they make a mistake. And by the time that mistake happens, the consequences are already real. Debt, panic investing, lifestyle inflation, missed years of compound growth. Financial literacy isn't just about information anymore. We already have thousands of videos, courses, and articles. The real problem is experience. Because reading about financial decisions is very different from actually making them. So I built PRAXIS, an AI-native financial simulator designed to teach finance through practice, consequence, and decision-making, not through memorization. PRAXIS is not designed like a traditional finance course. And it is not designed like a game either. It is a simulation. Instead of teaching finance through memorization, PRAXIS teaches through experience. Every decision creates consequences, and every consequence becomes a lesson. Users begin by creating a financial twin, a digital version of themselves built from their real financial situation, personality, and long-term goals. That twin is then placed into realistic financial scenarios like managing a first paycheck, handling debt, surviving a market crash, or navigating unexpected opportunities. At every major decision point, 3 specialized AI agents debate the best course of action from different perspectives, including safety, long-term growth, and behavioral psychology. And because PRAXIS compresses years of financial consequences into minutes, users are able to experience the impact of their decisions before those consequences happen in real life. The experience inside PRAXIS is designed as a complete financial journey. Users begin by creating their financial twin using real information like income, expenses, goals, and behavioral tendencies. That twin is then placed into realistic financial scenarios inspired by decisions people face every day, from managing a first paycheck to surviving market volatility and unexpected financial events. At every major crossroads, the AI council analyzes the situation in real time. 3 specialized AI agents debate the trade-offs behind each possible decision instead of pretending there is one universally correct. Once a decision is made, the simulation accelerates time forward, allowing users to experience the long-term consequences of their actions across months and even years within seconds. And most importantly, PRAXIS allows users to compare outcomes, reflect on missed opportunities, and learn through experience rather than passive instruction alone. PRAXIS begins by creating what we call a financial twin, an AI-powered digital version of the user's financial identity. Instead of relying on generic financial advice, the platform personalizes every scenario, projection, and recommendation around the user's actual situation and behavior. Within minutes, users are able to navigate realistic financial decisions, watch AI agents debate their options in real time, and experience how those decisions could shape their future long before those consequences happen in real life. Users begin by building the foundation of their financial twin using real-world information like age, location, career goals, income, savings, and debt. This step is important because PRAXIS is designed to adapt itself around the user's actual financial situation rather than generating generic simulations that feel disconnected from reality. A student in India managing limited savings and early income opportunities will naturally face very different financial decisions compared to someone already years into their career. That context becomes the foundation for everything that happens next inside the simulation. This information never leaves the user's device. PRAXIS stores everything locally, allowing users to explore deeply personal financial scenarios without worrying about their data being uploaded or shared. PRAXIS doesn't just analyze a user's finances, it also tries to understand the psychology behind their decisions. During onboarding, users answer a series of behavioral questions designed to reveal how they emotionally respond to money, uncertainty, risk, delayed gratification, investing habits, and financial stress. For example, how someone reacts during a market crash can completely change their long-term financial outcome. Some people panic and sell everything. Others stay patient and continue investing. PRAXIS is designed to recognize those behavioral patterns early. The platform also analyzes how users approach research, automation, and long-term planning, helping build a far more realistic financial profile than traditional budgeting apps or financial calculators. These insights are then used to generate a personalized money personality that influences future simulations, portfolio behavior, AI council debates, and even the types of financial challenges the user is likely to face over time. As onboarding is completed, PRAXIS transforms the user's financial and behavioral data into a personalized financial twin. Using details like income, savings, debt, goals, and money habits, the platform generates a realistic financial profile complete with projected income, financial health, emergency readiness, and a behavioral archetype. In this case, the system identifies the user as the builder, someone focused on balanced, consistent long-term growth. This financial twin now becomes the foundation for every future simulation, projection, and AI council decision throughout the experience. Once the financial twin is generated, users enter their personal financial dashboard, the central command center of the entire simulation. At the top, PRAXIS displays live system status indicators, showing whether the AI council and back-end infrastructure are fully active in real time. Since the platform runs on live AI deliberation and external market data, the backend may occasionally enter a short cold start state after inactivity. Instead of leaving users confused with a blank loading screen, PRAXIS transparently communicates exactly what is happening while keeping the platform fully usable in the meantime. The dashboard also introduces persistent progression systems like streak tracking, helping encourage long-term engagement and consistent financial learning over time. At the center of the dashboard, PRAXIS displays the user's active financial identity, including their generated archetype and personalized profile information. Directly below that, the platform streams live market intelligence including stock prices, cryptocurrency movement, inflation data, and federal interest rates pulled from real financial APIs in real time. This allows every simulation inside PRAXIS to exist within actual market conditions rather than isolated fictional environments. One of the core visual systems inside PRAXIS is the Financial Identity Matrix, an interactive 3D financial galaxy built using real-time rendering technologies directly inside the browser. Instead of displaying the user's financial profile through static charts alone, PRAXIS visualizes different areas of financial growth as a living simulated universe. Each orbital element represents different financial domains, such as budgeting, investing, debt management, and risk awareness, while the overall system dynamically reflects the user's current financial condition and progression over time. As users interact with the galaxy, they are able to explore different mastery vectors, behavioral indicators, and portfolio dynamics through an immersive interface designed to make financial literacy feel interactive rather than overwhelming. For users who prefer a more structured analytical view, PRAXIS also includes a twin DNA mode alongside the interactive galaxy visualization. This view breaks down the financial twin into detailed allocation strategies, psychological anchors, and behavioral indicators generated during onboarding. Users are able to see how their financial personality influences areas like risk tolerance, long-term planning, automation comfort, research habits, and portfolio distribution across different asset classes. Together, the Galaxy and DNA views allow PRAXIS to balance immersive visualization with practical financial analysis, depending on how the user prefers to explore their financial identity. Below the financial identity matrix, PRAXIS visualizes how the user's financial future could evolve over time based on their current habits, behavioral profile, and future decisions inside the simulation. The Wealth Path Projection provides a long-term trajectory of the user's financial twin, including probabilistic life events that can influence future financial growth and stability over time. Alongside that, the Financial Mastery System tracks progression across 6 core financial domains, including budgeting, investing, debt management, behavioral awareness, tax strategy, and risk management. Instead of relying on passive quizzes or theoretical lessons, PRAXIS measures growth through actual decision-making under realistic financial pressure. Every choice made inside a scenario directly impacts these systems, allowing users to visually see how their financial instincts, habits, and long-term outcomes evolve throughout the experience. Once the financial twin is fully initialized, users can enter the Scenario Engine, a collection of interactive financial crossroads designed to simulate major moments people encounter throughout their financial lives. Each scenario represents a different stage of financial growth and focuses on specific challenges involving budgeting, investing, debt, risk management, and long-term decision-making. The Summer Hustle explores early financial independence during teenage years, including first income, student debt, and spending discipline. The First Paycheck focuses on balancing emergency savings, investing, and lifestyle decisions after entering the workforce for the first time. The market crash places users into a high-pressure downturn scenario where emotional decision-making and behavioral discipline become critical under extreme volatility. And the Windfall explores how users respond to sudden financial opportunity, forcing them to weigh short-term desires against long-term financial growth. Rather than offering one fixed path, every scenario contains branching decisions, long-term consequences, AI deliberation phases, and evolving financial outcomes based on the user's behavior throughout the experience. For this demonstration, we'll explore the First Paycheck, a scenario focused on one of the most important financial transition points in a young person's life. The simulation places the user into their very first month of financial independence, where every decision begins shaping long-term financial habits, stability, and future wealth accumulation. Users must balance real-world trade-offs involving savings, debt, investing, emergency preparedness, and spending priorities while navigating the uncertainty that often comes with early financial adulthood. And just like real life, even small decisions made during this stage can compound into dramatically different long-term outcomes over time. Inside each scenario, users are presented with realistic financial decisions built around competing priorities and long-term trade-offs, rather than simple right or wrong answers. At any point, users can choose to consult the AI Council and watch 3 specialized financial agents debate the consequences and trade-offs behind every available option in real time. For this demonstration, however, the decision is made manually. In this situation, the user has just received their first paycheck and must decide how to balance emergency savings, investing, and debt reduction using the limited income available. The selected approach splits available funds between emergency savings and long-term investing, creating a balance between immediate financial stability and future wealth growth. Once a decision is made, PRAXIS immediately simulates the long-term impact of that choice and updates the user's financial twin accordingly. The platform explains not only what happened as a result of the decision, but also why the outcome occurred and what financial principles were reinforced through the experience. Users earn financial mastery progression based on the quality and consistency of their decisions across different financial domains. PRAXIS also highlights the roads not taken, alternative outcomes that could have happened if different choices were made, allowing users to compare trade-offs and reflect on missed opportunities in a much more interactive way than traditional financial education platforms. As the simulation progresses, PRAXIS continues moving the user forward through different stages of financial life, introducing more advanced and realistic financial decisions over time. At this point, the user is now further into their career and must decide how they want to approach long-term retirement investing through options like 401k contributions, employer matching, and Roth IRA investing. And this is where the experience becomes much more realistic than traditional financial learning platforms, because none of these choices are completely obvious. Some options prioritize long-term compound growth, others prioritize flexibility and liquidity, while some involve larger risks for potentially larger future rewards. The goal of PRAXIS is not to tell users what to think, but to help them understand the trade-offs behind every financial decision they make. And since many younger users may not fully understand terms like 401k, Roth IRA, employer matching, or tax-advantaged investing yet, PRAXIS also includes a built-in financial glossary system that can explain these concepts instantly without taking users out of the experience. We'll take a look at that system shortly after the simulation. When users are unsure about a financial decision, they can activate the AI Council deliberation system directly inside the simulation. At this point, 3 specialized AI agents independently analyze the user's financial twin, behavioral profile, current financial condition, and the scenario taking place in real time before generating their own recommendations. The first phase is opinions, where each AI agent presents its perspective individually before debating the others. The conservator focuses on financial safety, stability, and downside protection. In this case, the conservator argues that the user should prioritize emergency savings and debt reduction before aggressively contributing toward retirement investments, emphasizing the importance of financial security and liquidity during the early stages of financial growth. The grower approaches the situation from a completely different perspective, focusing primarily on long-term wealth creation and compound growth over time. Rather than prioritizing short-term safety, the grower argues that delaying investing early in life can have major long-term consequences due to the power of compounding. In this scenario, the grower recommends maximizing the employer's 401k match, viewing it as guaranteed long-term value and an opportunity to begin building investment momentum as early as possible. The final perspective comes from the behaviorist. The AI agent focused less on pure math and more on human psychology and long-term behavioral sustainability. Rather than simply chasing the highest possible returns, the behaviorist analyzes which financial strategy the user is realistically most likely to maintain consistently over time. In this case, the behaviorist supports contributing toward the employer match, arguing that starting early investing habits while still maintaining manageable savings behavior creates a much more sustainable long-term financial foundation. The system also recognizes that financial success is not only about choosing the theoretically optimal strategy, but choosing one that users can realistically stick with emotionally and psychologically over long periods of time. The rebuttal phase is where the AI counsel becomes significantly more dynamic and human-like. Instead of simply generating isolated recommendations, the agents now begin actively debating each other's assumptions, exposing weaknesses in opposing strategies, and defending their own financial philosophies in real time. The grower argues that the conservator is being overly cautious and potentially sacrificing major long-term growth opportunities by delaying retirement investing too aggressively. According to the grower, employer contribution matching and compound growth are most powerful during the earliest stages of a career, meaning even small delays in investing can create significant long-term opportunity costs over time. The conservator immediately pushes back against that idea, arguing that prioritizing aggressive investing before building emergency protection and financial stability can leave users dangerously vulnerable during unexpected financial emergencies. From the conservator's perspective, financial survival and stability should always come before long-term optimization strategies. Finally, the behaviorist enters the debate from a completely different psychological perspective. Rather than focusing purely on maximizing returns or minimizing risk, the behaviorist analyzes which strategy the user is actually most likely to sustain consistently over time without panic, burnout, or emotional decision-making. The system recognizes that financial success is not determined only by mathematical optimization, but also by human behavior, emotional discipline, and long-term consistency. This creates a much more realistic educational experience because users are not simply receiving static financial advice. They are watching multiple financial philosophies actively debate the trade-offs, risks, and emotional realities behind major financial decisions. After the debate phase is complete, the AI counsel moves into the final synthesis stage. This is where all three agents combine their reasoning into a single balanced recommendation tailored specifically to the user's financial twin, behavioral profile, and current financial condition. Rather than pretending there is one universally perfect financial decision, PRAXIS transparently shows where the agents agree, where they disagree, and which trade-offs still remain unresolved. The system generates a confidence score, summarizes the core financial conflict, and highlights the major factors influencing the recommendation. Users can also view structured breakdowns, including areas of agreement, points of conflict, and personalized bias warnings generated from the user's behavioral tendencies and financial patterns. For example, the system may detect behaviors like excessive fear of losses, over-reliance on familiar strategies, or prioritizing short-term comfort over long-term growth opportunities. Finally, the AI counsel delivers a balanced recommendation designed specifically around the user's situation rather than generic financial advice. In this case, The council recommends contributing enough to maximize the employer match while still allocating significant focus toward emergency savings and debt reduction, creating a middle ground strategy between aggressive investing and financial stability. This entire deliberation process is designed to help users understand not only what decision they are making, but why different financial philosophies may disagree about the best path forward in the first place. After reviewing the full deliberation process, users can either follow the council's recommendation or make their own independent decision. In this case, the user chooses to follow the AI Council's balanced recommendation by maximizing the employer's 401k contribution match. Once the decision is finalized, PRAXIS immediately updates the user's financial twin and generates both short-term and long-term outcome analysis based on that choice. The platform explains what happened financially, why the outcome occurred, and what core financial lessons were reinforced through the decision. Users also earn financial mastery progression points, allowing the system to continuously track growth across multiple financial domains as the simulation evolves over time. One of the most important features here is the roads not taken system. Rather than hiding alternate outcomes, PRAXIS actively shows users how different choices could have shaped completely different financial futures, helping users understand the trade-offs behind every decision rather than simply labeling answers as correct or incorrect. The platform then summarizes the AI Council's final recommendation alongside its confidence score and the major trade-offs considered throughout the deliberation process. This creates a much deeper form of financial learning, where users are not just memorizing advice, but actively exploring the consequences, psychology, and reasoning behind major financial decisions in a safe, simulated environment. As the simulation progresses, PRAXIS begins introducing more psychologically complex financial decisions instead of only mathematical ones. In this stage, the user receives a salary increase and is faced with a classic lifestyle inflation dilemma, whether to increase spending alongside higher income or continue prioritizing long-term financial growth. The user briefly considers consulting the AI Council again for guidance, showing how PRAXIS allows deeper financial analysis whenever uncertainty appears during important decisions. However, instead of relying entirely on AI recommendations every time, the user ultimately decides independently and chooses a balanced 50-50 approach between lifestyle upgrades and continued investing. Once the decision is finalized, PRAXIS immediately simulates the long-term effects of that choice and updates the user's financial twin accordingly. The platform reinforces important behavioral lessons around sustainable spending habits, long-term consistency, and avoiding excessive lifestyle inflation as income grows over time. Users are also able to compare alternate financial paths through the roads not taken system, helping visualize how different decisions could have created entirely different long-term outcomes. This reflects one of the core goals behind PRAXIS, helping users gradually build the confidence and behavioral discipline needed to make smarter financial decisions on their own over time. After completing the scenario, the user is returned back to the main dashboard where the financial twin has now visibly evolved based on every decision made throughout the simulation. The financial identity matrix updates in real time, showing changes across financial health, net worth, mastery progression, and investment-related growth vectors influenced by the user's choices. As the user explores the dashboard again, different financial domains dynamically reflect how the simulation impacted their long-term trajectory, behavioral profile, and overall financial development. This creates a persistent sense of progression, where every scenario meaningfully contributes to the evolution of the user's financial identity over time rather than existing as isolated lessons or disconnected quizzes. The dashboard analytics also update immediately after the scenario is completed, allowing users to visually compare how their decisions change their financial twin over time. Metrics like net worth, financial health score, mastery progression, and total decision history are continuously recalculated based on the choices made throughout the simulation. The wealth path projection shifts dynamically to reflect the user's updated long-term financial trajectory, while the financial mastery radar expands across different financial domains influenced by the user's behavior and decision-making patterns. Instead of treating financial education as static theory, PRAXIS allows users to directly see how small decisions compound into measurable long-term changes across multiple aspects of their financial future. After completing a scenario, PRAXIS marks it as mastered, while still allowing users to replay it using completely different financial strategies and behavioral approaches. Because Praxis is built around branching decisions and evolving outcomes, replaying the same scenario can lead to completely different long-term timelines, depending on the choices the user makes. And beyond the first paycheck, the platform also includes multiple additional financial journeys focused on different stages of financial life and different forms of financial pressure, encouraging users to explore, experiment, and compare different financial philosophies over time. The Summer Hustle focuses on the earliest stages of financial independence, following the user from their first summer job through the beginning of college life. The scenario introduces foundational financial concepts like saving discipline, spending habits, student debt, and early money management decisions that can quietly shape long-term financial stability later in life. The market crash scenario explores one of the most emotionally difficult moments in personal finance, watching investments suddenly collapse during a major market downturn. Users are placed into a high-pressure situation where fear, uncertainty, and emotional decision-making begin competing directly against long-term investing discipline. The scenario is designed to teach how psychology and behavior can become just as important as financial knowledge during periods of extreme market volatility. And finally, the Windfall explores how users react to sudden financial opportunity and unexpected wealth. Instead of focusing on financial survival, this scenario challenges users to think carefully about priorities, discipline, long-term planning, and the temptation of short-term spending when a large amount of money suddenly becomes available. And for users who may not fully understand financial terms that appear during simulations or AI council debates, things like 401k, Roth IRAs, compound interest, inflation, or dollar cost averaging, Praxis includes a built-in learning system called the Quantum Lexicon. Instead of forcing users to leave the platform and search confusing financial jargon online, the lexicon allows them to instantly explore clear, beginner-friendly explanations directly inside the experience. This helps keep the simulations approachable for newer users, while still allowing the platform to introduce real-world financial concepts and terminology naturally throughout the journey. Praxis also gives users complete control over their financial journey at any point during the experience. If users want to experiment with different personalities, alternate strategies, or completely different financial philosophies, they can fully reset their financial twin, decision history, mastery progression, and simulation timeline at any time. This encourages exploration and replayability, allowing users to continuously learn from different outcomes, behavioral patterns, and long-term financial consequences across multiple runs. And ultimately, that is the goal behind Praxis. Financial literacy is not just about understanding definitions, calculators, or investment terms. It is about learning how to think through real financial decisions under uncertainty. Praxis transforms financial education from passive instruction into active experience through simulations, behavioral psychology, AI deliberation, and long-term consequence modeling. Instead of simply teaching users what financial decisions exist, the platform helps them understand the trade-offs, emotions, risks, and long-term effects behind those choices. Because the best way to learn financial decision-making is not just by reading about it. It is by experiencing it.